SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Waiting. You do it at grocery stores, in traffic, and at the doctor's office. But what if you could skip the wait altogether? Introducing Trust Care Plus, a healthcare membership that makes feeling better even faster. Skip the waiting room and enjoy priority access at any Trust Care clinic. Sick kid? Text your care crew day or night. Get discounts on prescriptions and so much more. Wait no more. Feeling better just got a whole lot faster. Join Trust Care Plus today. Plans start from just $15 a month. Learn more at trustcarehealth.com/plus.
I'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
And we are glad you are. Welcome to the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. We're back on the air from the Southern Bancorp studio here in Hattiesburg. Glad you're with us wherever you're tuned in or online. Welcome back to the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. Opening segment is sponsored by Dickey's Barbecue Pit, which we think is a great place to take your family for dinner any night of the week, and the best place to cater your next event. Dickey's and Fuzzy's Tacos, they do great jobs in catering. We've all used them many times before and never been disappointed. So check them out when you've got a next occasion. Church, business, home, Dickey's does a fabulous job. Danny Reed does the play-by-play for Georgia Southern. I'm guessing he does a fabulous job in that. He's going to talk to us a little later in the show. Big matchup coming tomorrow night. Kind of exciting to see the Golden Eagles on such a big platform, and we'll be talking more with Danny about what to expect from, what is their nickname, Kelly? They're the Eagles.
They're the Eagles as well.
Eagles. Yeah. That's right. But right now, we're going to go to our Wednesday contributor, which is Glyn Dyar, and, of course, we talk a lot about Glyn and like him a lot and think he does a great job covering Southern Miss athletics. And, Glyn, you're always a bright spot for us on Wednesday. Welcome back, and tell us how big you think this national platform game is tomorrow night for Southern Miss football.
Hey, guys, always a pleasure to be here. It's always huge when you get to show off your university and your brand, for be the only game on. So, yeah, it's a big opportunity.
Is it going to be a tough challenge for the Golden Eagles? I think it's fair to say Georgia Southern has probably been a little disappointing based on their preseason hype, but nevertheless, you're in their ballpark, and Kelly's got a little experience over there, had a child that went to school there, and he says it's a tough place to go in and win.
It is. It's a 25,000-seat stadium, and their last home game, I think they had 24,000 plus, so it'll be packed. It'll be loud. They'll have the student section sitting right behind our bench, so it should be a loud environment, and one we need to make our own energy and be ready to play. Get out to a fast start to be huge for Southern.
Glyn, something I asked Coach Huff yesterday, and I want you to kind of allude on this, is when we think of road matchups, the only road game that Southern Miss has played is at Louisiana Tech. Obviously, that didn't go the way they experienced it, wanted to experience it. Now they play at Georgia Southern, and there was something really interesting that Charles Huff said in the press conference yesterday that I kind of want you to expound on. 70-80% of the players had never been to Louisiana Tech. They'd never been a part of what that game would be like. It was just kind of a weird game from someone who was there, so, all the things that happened there. But Braylon, Coach Huff, a lot of the players have been to Georgia Southern. They went to Georgia Southern last year with Marshall. Do you think that helps? Because Coach Huff has certainly said it did. I just don't know how much I bought into that, and curious how much you did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. Familiarity is huge. A lot of these guys have spent a night in a hotel there. They've dressed in that locker room there. They've gone out on that field and played there. I mean, something else to add to this for Coach Huff and Braylon and those guys, last year lost a 20-point lead in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So disastrous with turnovers, and I think they're going to be looking for a little payback and a point to prove. Also, the point is, we're on the road again. Last time, I don't think they really felt like they prepared the way they needed to, when they went to La Tech. I think they're looking to prove a point in terms of being prepared, for this game as well.
What's intriguing to me, one of the things that's intriguing to me is I don't think halfway through the season now we know any more about what we should expect from Georgia Southern as we do out of our own Southern Miss team, because as Dima talked about, we laid an egg over at Louisiana Tech. We haven't had a road game, since then in conference. Georgia Southern is taking on water at a record rate. They're sinking, so they're underperforming. The Eagles, to be fair, have been overperforming maybe a little bit. So I'm not sure, Glenn, if we know any more halfway the season how either team is going to wind up than before the season ever started. Is that a fair analysis?
Yeah, it is, and obviously a victory here sets them up, for a nice run. But something Coach Huff alluded to was we were going into a quasi-bye week was at this point in the season, he's had the opportunity to kind of figure out, he and his staff, what his guys are good at and what they're not good at. And they use a little bit of this extra time to fix some discrepancies and maybe even to shuttle some things that they're just not built to do. So, in terms of our offense and our defense, I still think there's some meat on the bone in terms of a ceiling for Southern Miss. I think they can get better.
And they've got 3 healthy backs, and that's bad news for Georgia Southern because they have not on the ground been able to stop a nosebleed. In fact, Dima had put out on X, about how poor the Georgia Southern defense has been. And I think when you're going into Irk Russell territory there at Paulson Stadium, defense is what they have prided themselves on. And so far, they have stunk, Dima, on defense.
It's bad. It's 133rd out of 134 FBS teams in defense for Georgia Southern. And I think part of that is because they had to go on the road and play USC. I don't think a lot of defenses in the Sun Belt could defend against USC. Again, on the road at Fresno State, which I think is much better than a lot of Sun Belt teams. So, I think there's reasons for that, but I don't think there's any reason that they should be 133rd when you think if they played Maine, Jacksonville State. Off the top of my head, James Madison, they looked terrible against James Madison last week. So, I expect Southern Miss to be able to move the ball, Glenn. I guess my question is to you, what does the Georgia Southern offense pose to the Southern Miss defense? Because I think there's, without a question, Southern Miss will be able to move the ball and stay in the game from an offensive perspective, but will they be able to stop Georgia Southern?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big point in the ball game. Georgia Southern has a proven quarterback in J.C. French. He's back for probably his 3rd year. He had a huge year last year, threw for almost 3,000 yards and 17 touchdowns. He's a proven guy. He's a tough guy, and he's played within Coach Helton's system, so he knows what he's doing. And they have a proven running back that rolled up 128 yards on Jacksonville, a week or so ago. So, they have some weapons within the inside too. Their 2 guards are all conference guys, and their center was a freshman All-American 2 years ago. So, the power of that team is inside run game and J.C. French being able to ad-lib, within Coach Helton's system.
What I'm hearing, Kelly, is we're going to be hitting the over on the 58.
I think if I had to, by the way, the NCAA, approved gambling, betting on NCAA football games. Players
can bet on professional games.
Yes, yeah, what? But no, anyway. That's for our final segment of the day. But I would bet the over in that game. But
Glenn's always has something weird come up.
Glenn, were we hallucinating earlier this week because the 3 of us were saying if the Golden Eagles could win this game tomorrow night? Now brace yourself. I hope you're sitting down. All 3 of us said they could very well become the favorite to win the West.
I would say they're going to have to beat Texas State before that's a thing.
Okay. Fair point.
No, and I thought that too until Texas State went up and lost to a weak Arkansas State team, or at least a weak Arkansas State team.
Let me say this.
I
think if Southern Miss wins tomorrow night and then they win next week at UL, I think they're one of the 2 favorites to win the rest in that point.
Yeah, and that Texas State game here at the Rock will be huge.
That's what I'm saying. That Texas State game here, you'd hope it'd be a night game. That very might well decide the West.
But there's no room to lay an egg, is there?
There's not.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because they haven't played a West team yet. So, you could theoretically lose this game and it not really hurt you that much in the grand scheme, because you're going to play all the rest of the West teams for the rest of the season.
But I'm just basing this on performance of all the West teams up to this point. There just hasn't been a juggernaut that's just steamrolling everybody. And you thought maybe before last weekend, if there was, it was James Madison on the East, in the East, and Texas State in the West. But then they went up to Arkansas State and blew the lead there and lost it to an Arkansas State team that has been playing poorly at best. So I just think the West is wide open, and that's great news for Southern Miss.
And next week's game, Old Dominion at James Madison. I think that's going to decide the East.
Glenn, at this point of the year, what's the better? What is the better part of the league, the East or the West?
Right now, I'd say the East. I mean, ODU and James Madison are both turning out, great numbers in terms of their, the PFF grades. When you talk about offense and defense and offensive lines and defensive line performance, I mean, they've, impressive numbers, and football's won in the trenches. So,
and isn't that the way it's been the last couple of years? Really, the weight of the league has been in the East, Glenn.
Yeah, I'd say that. And James Madison year after year has been great. I mean, ODU now, I mean,
James
there's a surprise.
I'm sick of James Madison. What's the key there? Why are they so good in everything, Glenn?
Not baseball.
They got money.
No, okay. And we po.
I think James Madison has the highest budget in the conference, them and ODU, and they huge student fees over there.
I got you. So, are they the most lucrative financially teams in the league? You think programs in the league?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and look, we make fun of it, but tell me that's not important. I mean, it's money buys success, and that seems to be the case.
Well, the Dodgers have got by far the biggest budget in the major leagues, and they're doing very well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, the Tigers though, they're
hanging in there.
They're hanging in there. They got a tough game tonight.
Hey, Glenn, we appreciate you very much, my friend.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good day.
Glyn Dyar, everybody. Got a great what's his room called? Chat room?
247 Sports, Golden Eagle Pride.
Yeah, does a great job. Glyn Dyar, we really appreciate him. Danny Reed, join us later. We're going to talk let's talk about college football players gambling legally now when we come back.
People might turn it off then.
Never.
Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel is a wholesaler and distributor that has been powering our community for over 20 years. With everything from conduits to tape, tools to home automation devices, if you can think of it, we supply it. All you need to do is talk us through the project at hand, and we'll ensure you're equipped to get it done right. To get all the electrical supplies you need, visit Robinson Electric at 519 North 13th Avenue or call us at 601-649-1317.
Hey, Southern Miss fans, TrustCare Health is proud to support the Golden Eagles and help keep our community in top shape, whether you're cheering at the Rock or the Peak. TrustCare has your back with convenient walk-in clinics and top-notch care for your urgent, primary, and kids' care needs. From game day injuries to everyday health needs, TrustCare is your go-to team. Visit us in Hattiesburg and Laurel, and let's keep the spirit of Southern Miss soaring to the top. Visit TrustCareHealth.com for more details. TrustCare Health. Feel better faster.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Hey, former Southern Miss baseball player Matt Warren invites you to see him for premium Goodyear products, full auto and truck service, all at Eagle Tire West. They're next to Smith Motor Company, Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. Family operated since 1985. Eagle Tire and Eagle Tire West. Goodyear tires, full service, big Southern Miss supporters. As is Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of the Eagle Hour. Mr. Grubbs does much for Southern Miss athletics. Genesis sedans and SUVs from the Mississippi's exclusive Genesis dealership, Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. A segment alert here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
The next few minutes may not be about Southern Miss athletics, just in case you need to take the children out of the room or something like that.
Listener discretion advised.
Yes, listener discretion advised.
Talking about digging a hole.
Dima, you're joking me that the NCAA now says it's okay for college athletes to bet on sporting events?
Well, it's not all sporting events, to be clear. It's just NFL. It's just professional. Well, Ross Dillinger had it. D1 athletes soon likely to be able to gamble on pro sports. The D1 Administrative Committee votes to remove restrictions on gambling on pro sports. The rule change cannot happen unless also approved by Divisions 2 and 3 is what the NCAA says.
I wish Pete Rose was alive to comment on that. Wonder what he'd think about that, Kelly.
I think what's really going to be sad is if they do, now that he's passed away, if they put him in the Hall of Fame, because if they were going to do that all along,
what an insult!
They should have done it while he was alive.
Be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
So
what do you make of that, Mr. Mixon?
I mean, they have to be doing something with all this money they're making.
That's a good point. Never thought about that.
So he thinks they ought to gamble with it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's have college students gamble away the millions of dollars they're making in NIL on the Bengals.
You know, you could. Well,
that's a way to.
That's
lose
an easy bet. That's an easy bet. But you could argue that you're surprised that they at least drew the line at pro football. Because
why one sport? I don't understand that.
Well,
why would they not be allowed
pro sports in general?
Any pro sport,
NHL,
hockey, anything like that.
Yeah.
Do people bet on hockey?
Hockey season starts tonight, by the way. The Canadiens and Maple Leafs.
Why would you bring that up?
Lord,
now people have definitely turned off the show.
I knew that. Boy, I knew that. I've been waiting for this day.
MLB playoffs are in full effect, and that's what's entertaining on television.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Your Tigers are kind of hanging around.
Yeah, they are. They can't hit. They just can't hit. But their pitching has been so good that's kept it in them.
Mm-hmm. Who do you like right now?
That's kind of personal. Oh, baseball-wise? I was going to say that's kind of personal. Why would we bring that up on the air? I think the Dodgers. I think you got to go. And the Blue Jays are playing really well, even though the Yankees had a miraculous come-from-behind win last night. Okay, are we done now so we can get back to Southern Miss of that segment?
You guys can talk about anything you like.
Well, I want to go back and talk more about the conference, particularly in football. So I think a reality check, and a lot of it's going to be predicated on how the Eagles perform Thursday night. But let's just hypothetically say, regardless of how many they win by, that they do win this game. Here's the rhetorical question I throw out to you and to our listening audience. Should this be an indicator that Southern Miss is playing especially well halfway through the season? Is it an indictment on the overall weakness of the Sun Belt this year, or is it a little bit of both? Dima Mixon.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, but when you think about the two conference games that Southern Miss has played so far, I mean, we all thought they would probably beat App State. I mean, coming into the season, I think Georgia Southern has just been like shockingly not good.
Yeah.
And so I never thought this was going to be a win until like this week, if that makes sense. But next week when they go to UL, another game where UL is supposed to have a lot of players back. Their quarterback got hurt in week 1, so now they're a mess. So then Southern Miss isn't going to complain. Right. So it doesn't mean that Southern Miss is any worse.
No.
I mean, I think a full-strength Louisiana versus a full-strength Southern Miss will still be a great game.
But we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and I still want to get Bob's opinion to that rhetorical question. But when you look at the unavails for Southern Miss, there was only 6 or 7, which I think halfway through the season, that's a remarkably low number.
Mm-hmm. Knock on wood.
I agree with the Dima. I think it's a mixture of both. Yeah. And if you look at the West, I mean, I hate to get ahead of myself, but South Alabama doesn't look good. Troy looks very mediocre. Not the same team we saw the last couple of years at Troy.
Agreed.
I really think the Golden Eagles, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that they win the Western Division. I know it's hard to believe.
And it could indeed come down to that Texas State game.
Yeah. Now, here's another question for both of you astute gentlemen. Southern Miss, this is hypothetical.
Astute gentlemen. I'm a Seventh-day horizontalist. My God. Oh, that's not a religion. Astute is not a religion. Okay.
I don't think so.
All right, go ahead.
Kelly. I was trying to be complimentary.
Okay, all right.
I should have known better. Hypothetically, if Southern Miss wins the division, right? They go to the championship game.
I know where you're going with this.
How many schools start coming after the new coach?
If that happens, I would be absolutely shocked if he's still the coach at the end of December.
Why wouldn't it happen?
Yeah, I know.
So you're saying under Bob's hypothetical situation, Huff is one and done?
I would be shocked if he's still.
And then, okay, if you want to play that game, then hypothetically, was Blake Anderson brought in as the OC to theoretically be the coach in waiting? And that Blake Anderson,
hypothetically speaking, if Coach Huff had a great year and got that dream job, my guess is Blake Anderson would instantly be named the head coach.
I don't know about instantly, but he would be a consideration. This is the problem, I think, with this argument is, let's just say what you're saying is correct and Huff leaves. next year's team, regardless of Huff stays or loses, is going to be like a tremendous step down from this team. You're losing basically your entire offensive line. You're losing 2 or 3 of your receivers. You're losing your quarterback. You're losing 2 running backs. Chris Jones is probably gone. I'd be surprised if he's still here. Josh Moten's gone. I mean, you're talking about a wiping of the starting offense and defense. So whoever the next head coach is, which I would say on October, whatever it is today, 7th or 8th, I would still think that Charles Huff would be coaching here next year. Whoever the coach is, it is going to be a generational type switch in the roster from this season to next season.
And I have no reason to think Coach Huff is getting ready to leave, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays here. I think he's been a real breath of fresh air.
For the benefit of the university, we better hope that not happen. But we also have to be realist and know that we know that he came here as a step. This is a stepping stone university. It just is. People who don't understand that is just wrong.
Right. And he's a well-respected coach, deservedly so. Great pedigree, having worked at Penn State and Alabama. I mean, he's an attractive coach for a Power 4 school if he has a really great year.
And, if he listens to this podcast at all or somebody gets to him, he will be pulling his hair and go, what are you guys doing talking about
what hair?
Potentially leaving, so to speak.
Well, it's a compliment in a way.
Yeah, it
because
is.
we all recognize what a wonderful job he's done. And if he were to get to the conference championship game, what a remarkable turnaround would that be in one season?
It would be the third team, I think, in FPS history to go from 1-11 to the conference championship.
But he's also because he's old school, he's going, let's just get through Georgia Southern for heaven's sakes.
Well, yeah, but we're not coaching, so we don't have to worry about that.
We're fans. We can talk about this.
But I think it's a realistic thing to think about at this juncture in the season. Think about he took that Marshall team to the championship last year. For him to come to Southern Miss and take this team to the championship,
well, that's remarkable.
I mean, it would be. I think he would be. He would be not smart to not at least hear some powerful offers.
That's a great observation there. Do you not think if he could accomplish that any Power 5 school looking for a coach would have their eyes on, look at this guy, look what this guy did.
And regardless of whether or not he stays or leaves, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Well, the number one thing that the coaches were telling me off mic at Media Day in August in New Orleans was, I know you're going to ask us questions, but I, as the coach of school XYZ, I want to ask you a question as a Southern Miss guy. How did you guys pull that off?
It was a remarkable situation.
Yeah. How did you pull off getting the league champion to come over to your school?
Well, let me tell you my ignorant observation about this football team. You can say what you want to about how good or bad they are. They play hard. They tackle. They're aggressive. It reminds me in a lot of ways of some of the better parts of the past at Southern Miss football. And you got to lay that at the feet of Charles Huff. He's just done a really good job. And what you just said, I had never thought about that, Dima, but you know what? That's a possibility, and what a story would that be?
Yeah. I mean, you think about Todd Monken, who probably took over the worst, just awful, 1-11, 0-12. It took him, 3 years? 2013, 2014, he got him back to 3-9.
Yeah,
his third year, he got to the conference championship. Now, the change is the transfer portal,
yes,
of course.
I was going to say apples and oranges.
But still, it's still remarkable. Not a lot of head coaches can come from a school and just take over. I mean, this team was a mess last season. Mess.
And to further your point, you have Butch Jones at Arkansas State, who has been at Tennessee. Yep. He's been at Cincinnati. He's coached some big schools. Arkansas State ain't that great.
And again, I just want to reference this and say this again. We're not saying we want Charles Huff to leave.
No, we
just think it's a realistic thing to think that if he were to pull that off, there's no question. They would be dumb not to at least look at him.
And Clay Helton at Georgia Southern coached at USC. Yeah. And he's got a lot of new kids in the transfer portal, and it hasn't turned out successful
One thing I think all three of us can agree on is Charles Huff has done a really good job.
No doubt.
And,
it's unbelievable.
He's just, I think, exceeded expectations in many ways.
Well, how bad is the Georgia Southern defense? Danny Reed gets to call it good, bad, or indifferent every week. The voice of the Georgia Southern Eagles will be next on our Eagle Hour.
Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel is a wholesaler and distributor that has been powering our community for over 20 years. With everything from conduits to tape, tools to home automation devices, if you can think of it, we supply it. All you need to do is talk us through the project at hand, and we'll ensure you're equipped to get it done right. To get all the electrical supplies you need, visit Robinson Electric at 519 North 13th Avenue or call us at 601-649-1317.
Hey, Southern Miss fans, TrustCare Health is proud to support the Golden Eagles and help keep our community in top shape, whether you're cheering at the Rock or the Peak. TrustCare has your back with convenient walk-in clinics and top-notch care for your urgent, primary, and kids' care needs. From game day injuries to everyday health needs, TrustCare is your go-to team. Visit us in Hattiesburg and Laurel, and let's keep the spirit of Southern Miss soaring to the top. Visit TrustCareHealth.com for more details. TrustCare Health. Feel better faster.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, DBAT sponsors this segment of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. DBAT on Hardy Street, where you can go for all your baseball and softball training for your children. Athletes like Kelly go there to stay in shape, run 40 yards. When's the last time what was your last 40 time down there, Kelly, at DBAT?
Driving? It doesn't take any time driving it. I'm not going to run it if that's what you think.
DBAT on Hardy Street, state-of-the-art stuff. Luke Reynolds is the manager down there, and we thank them for all they do. All right, so real quick, Forest Healthcare, they remind you that keeping up with your favorite team this time of the year is fun, but don't forget about the most important player, you. You could get an annual physical, exercise, and be sure your health is as good as it can be. Forest Health can help you with expert medical care closer to home, foresthealth.org. Hey, we're happy to have Danny Reed on the Eagle Hour. Danny does a play-by-play for Georgia Southern. It'll be the Battle of the Eagles tomorrow night on national TV. All right, Danny, tell us first of all, we hear it's a great atmosphere. Your fans are very supportive. You guys are really tough at home. What are the Golden Eagles going to walk into tomorrow night?
It's a stadium that was not around in 1941, the last time that these two played each other, but it did open at 84, right around the time of Irk Russell winning the back-to-back national championships, 85 and 86. 4 more followed over the next 15 years. You can feel the passion of 4 decades of football with every game that happens there. The field is built so to a point where the students are right on top of you next to the visitor sideline. They added the mid-deck or the second deck on the visiting side for the FBS expansion that took place in 2014. They added new turf 2 years ago. They've done a series of renovations in and around the stadium just to spruce things up, adding a new LED board, a new scoreboard before the start of last season, just in time for Ashton Genty to come in town with Boise State and run for 6 touchdowns. So they appreciated being able to see him on a high-definition scoreboard. But it's so much history that has happened there over 4 decades. And when you think about what's been done, it probably should be over about 100 years. But there's a lot of pride in what's been done here. Irk Russell, Tim Stowers, Paul Johnson, Jeff Bunkin, Willie Fritz, and now with Clay Helton. The people are serious about their football here, and they want a winner.
Isn't there a lot of similarities, really, between Southern Miss and Georgia Southern? And one similarity that jumps out at me, like Southern Miss has always existed in a school has always existed as a school with 2 SEC teams in the same state. Georgia Southern has an SEC and ACC team in the state. And have you ever heard that little brother comparison that we detest here so badly?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. It's always out there. But, Bob, until you brought it up, I really didn't think about it that way in terms of the similarities. I visited with Coach Helton this morning for our pregame interview, and he brought it up. He's got experience facing the Golden Eagles from his time at Memphis and his time at Houston, so he knows the program. We talked about the black and blue rivalry a little bit, which was nice to revisit. But, yeah, the stigma of the little brother or the younger brother is always going to be there, and in the case of Georgia Southern, they won't be playing Georgia or Georgia Tech anytime soon. The last meeting with an in-state school was 2016, took Georgia to overtime the year before, but now both are pretty adamant that those matchups are not going to happen, and that was with how things currently are. Now, when the split happens, it's going to be even more difficult. So I guess we're going to have to look at those memories with a different kind of lens, and maybe some things will change. But I don't know that those 2 or those 3 schools are going to make each other's acquaintance anytime soon.
Well, Danny, let's talk about your Eagles. First of all, defensively, Oh my gosh, what is
Do
wrong?
we have to?
Yes, or lack thereof. What's going on? I mean, they haven't been able to stop a nosebleed up to this point.
Well, I actually think a nosebleed would have better odds. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not. It's been unfortunate when you give up 300 yards rushing 3 times in 5 games, when you're giving up close to 8 yards per play, and that overlooks the fact that individually guys have performed well. There have been spurts where it seems that things are going the right way. The Maine game, outside of the first drive, when Maine got an opening touchdown to go up 7-0, defense didn't give up another score. The only other touchdown was a fluky tip ball interception that got ran back 75 yards for a score at the end of the second quarter. They held Maine under 250. They made them punt 5 times. The 3-and-outs were everywhere. But the inability to stop the run, not having a healthy defensive line, not tackling on the second and third levels, not setting the edges, and that's what really hurt against James Madison. It seemed like there were a number of times where ball carriers were shielded off and kept behind the initial point of attack, but then they would break right or break left. The edge wouldn't be set, and it would turn into 10, 15-yard gains. And they didn't have a ton of chunk plays, but it was just the consistency of the 10s, the 11s, the 12s. And by the time you look up, you realize you're getting outgained in the run game more than 10-1, and you're wondering how it was only 35-10. But had a week and a half to go through the film, get some guys healthy, and hopefully put forward their best performance of the year, because they're going to need it, because Southern Miss has got a lot of weapons, starting with Braylon Braxton at quarterback.
That's what I was going to mention. Charles Huff told us as reporters yesterday at the press conference that sometimes teams, have a bad few weeks of on the defensive side, and then over the bye week they just install an entirely new defensive scheme. I don't know if you expect that to happen, but you'd have to expect that they try something different on tomorrow night.
I would anticipate one guy lined up over the center, and then in a straight line like a centipede, 10 more guys behind him. And then you just see what happens. You're not going to separate. You're not going to see a D-line or a secondary. Just a straight line of 11 people. They can run wherever they want to and hopefully make it to – I have no idea what it's going to look like. But I hope it's not giving up 500 yards a game and hearing what could be a loud Paulson Stadium in the wrong respect. It is going to be loud regardless. There's been 13 straight games of 20,000 fans plus. That's never happened in the history of the stadium. Everybody knows it's on national television. Everybody wants to be seen on TV. So I think even though JMU was uncomfortable and the first 5 games haven't gone the way that people were wanting or expecting, I do think that the power of Paulson is going to be a real thing, and I do think they're going to do everything they can to make sure Georgia Southern leaves 500.
Well, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball then for GATA. You talked about the defense, but you guys have won some games too, so you can do some things right offensively.
Oh yeah, 2 and 3, yeah, fine. Now you got a quarterback in J.C. French, who's
right.
the first repeat starter in the Helton era. That hadn't happened since Shai Wertz was a full 4-year starter. You've got a lot of weapons at receiver, and it's already been announced that Josh Dallas is going to miss his 4th straight game due to injury. It's unfortunate because he's one of the best performers in the league at what he does when he is healthy. But even with Marcus Sanders on the outside, he's going to be wearing number 0 tomorrow in case people are doing their roster prep. He's going to ditch the 5 for the number 0. That's something special they do every week. The most accountable and best teammate going into each game wears the number 0. But also, Camden Brown has been a huge hit out of the transfer portal coming in from Auburn. He already has 5 receiving scores. The school record for a season is 8, so he's well on his way to making his own kind of history. But with the running game, O.J. Arnold, David Bedenga, Terrence Gibbs is going to be back for tomorrow, and then even going a little bit deeper with a Bryce Baker and a Teo Todd. You give the ball to any of them, you would feel comfortable. Tight end room has really been hit by injury. I think a couple of guys are going to be ready to go, but it got to a point where they had to pull their athletes and action coordinator from off of retirement to come back for the JMU game. Now, he does have another year of eligibility after this, and if Ethan Deerham wants to keep playing, he could finish in 2026. But trying to make sure all the pieces are available and then seeing what kind of puzzle you've got to put together, it's been a struggle at times, but there's also proof with the talent that's here that it can be a good product and it can be one of the best offenses in this league.
Danny, in today's world, it seems like you have to always ask this question. How many new players on the Georgia Southern roster this year from last year?
42. Low in considering a lot of teams in the country. Very limited transfer portal. Clay Helton has been amazing with that. No team has had fewer transfer portal guys since he got here for the start of the 2022 season. Freshmen, of course, are going to be rolling over about 25% to about 33% of your roster every year. But to have that number as low as it is a testament to the kind of program that he's built and the trust that exists in that building. But people are results-based. Teams are process-based. Fans want us to know that the wins are going to be there, and you hope that this part of the process is going to see Georgia Southern get to where they need to be.
And I was just going to ask, if things don't get better, they might not be jumping off bridges, but they might be climbing over the railing anyway.
Well, the only bridge that's tall enough in town to be called a bridge is the one that flows over Eagle Creek, and that's only about a 12-inch drop.
We need that here.
Yeah, especially during baseball season.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, thanks a lot, man. We look forward to it. It's going to be a great game, a national platform for both schools, so it's going to be a good night for both universities to get that national attention, don't you think?
Oh, I'm happy to see you guys finally on the schedule. I love John Cox to death. I can't wait to see him tomorrow. I think Jack Duggan is a fabulous person. He's one of my favorite people in this league, and the fact that these two have never played in the modern era, it's nice to finally correct that, and hopefully we can be on each other's schedules less than, or at least couple times every 7 or 8 years or so, but I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I'm really happy it's finally happening.
All right, real quick, when you see Jack Duggan, be sure you ask him about the night that he caught the foul ball in New Orleans while holding a hamburger in his same hand. It's a great story. True.
I've heard that story 5 times already.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. He likes to brag about it, doesn't
he?
Yes, he does.
Priorities, baby. Don't let go of that hamburger now.
Thank you, Danny. We appreciate you, man.
All right, boys. Be good.
Danny Reed, everybody, play-by-play voice, Georgia Southern. These guys are fun to have on the show.
They are. They know a lot about their teams, and they'll tell you.
Podcast is up about an hour after we leave the air. Apple, Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, or you can tell Alexa or Siri to play it. And you can also find us on YouTube. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, our thanks to Danny Reed for joining us. Glyn Dyar, always enjoy conversations with Glyn. This segment sponsored by 4th Street Bar and Grill. That's because it's the 4th segment. It's a great place to catch the game tomorrow night. That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. They're going to have the game on all the TVs. You get some good food and some cold drinks and be around a lot of present Golden Eagles, not former Golden Eagles, but Golden Eagle fans, and it'll be a wonderful atmosphere. 4th Street Bar and Grill right there in the Shadow Rock. We really appreciate Slade and all the guys and how they support our show. Mo Bay Beignet Company, the official beignet store of the Eagle Hour, 2902 Hardy Street. Check out their Facebook page. We think you'll like it. And gear up for this weekend's home projects, home repair, home remodeling, home construction. You'll find everything you need for your next project, whether it be your home, lawn, or garden. It's all at MCS Home Center in Bellevue, Hattiesburg's new improvement home center. 7329 Highway 98 West. Big Southern Miss supporters and a beautiful, beautiful store. Hadn't been inside of it. It really is a gorgeous store. And we just love having MCS Home Center as part of the Eagle Hour family. All right, last segment, Dima Mixon, news and notes.
Well, there's not a lot of news and notes other than the game tomorrow night, some upcoming games for Southern Miss Athletics. The soccer team, obviously we covered that on Monday that they dropped that matchup to ULM. But as far as the games tomorrow night, Southern Miss and Georgia Southern is one of 4 FBS games. One thing I was interested at and wanted to hear your thoughts on this: Louisiana Tech, they're 4-1.
Yeah.
They're only lost to LSU. They play Kennesaw State tomorrow night on Thursday night. They're going to have a pretty good season, and that loss to me is looking better and better, especially knowing that that Southern Miss could have won that game.
And a week from tomorrow night, because tomorrow is the 16th, so the following Thursday, October 23rd at Pete Taylor Park from 5 to 7 p.m. It's Bob Getty's favorite event every year, Trick or Treat at the Pete.
Is that next week?
Yes, October 23rd.
Well, that would be the next week. Tomorrow's the 9th.
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. My bad. 2 weeks from tomorrow.
So you have 2 weeks to get your suit ready, Kelly.
I think I'm going to pass. this year.
You're not going to go this year?
Well, I think people get a little, once you get to be like a freshman in high school, I think people frown upon people like me going out trick-or-treating. And
I mean, it would be frightening enough just to see him without a costume.
I didn't really mean you should be asking for candy. I thought you would just maybe go and dress up.
Oh, no.
Dress up?
No.
I don't know about that, Bob.
No, those things don't go together, do they?
But that is set for the 23rd.
Do you have a tie?
Yes, I actually do have a tie.
Do you? One?
I think have those shrunk too, along with those other shirts and clothes that are. Do ties shrink?
They do not shrink.
No, and the clothes at the Salvation Army, they couldn't be shrinking. They've already been through fires, through floods, washed. I mean, if there's anything.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit upset with them because they had a tag that said 50 cents, and then I went to ring it up and they said it was 75, and I said no dice. This tag says 50 cents. And so I'm going to the DAV now. I'm going to the Disabled Veterans to get all my clothing. But trick or treat at the Pete on Sunday,
God,
October.
You cause me so much trouble. Do you realize that?
I have a contract. Thursday, October 23rd, from 5 to 7 p.m. And of course, we'll get to see what Coach Oz and the assistant coaches will go as, because as we learned from Travis Creel, they don't have a choice as to what to go as.
Fall World Series is starting sometime in the next week or so.
No matter how many trick-or-treats at the Pete you have, there will never be a costume that outdoes the night Scott Berry came as Mr. Clean.
Yes.
It was absolutely awesome.
With the gold earring and everything.
It was just awesome. It was just awesome.
And that's a great community event,
Oh,
too.
That's a wonderful event, man. That's a great event.
Kids get to go out there, dressed up and getting their candy and autographs from all the players. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Should we pick the game tomorrow since, I won't be here tomorrow? And
yeah, let's hear it.
So Southern Miss versus at Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern is a 3-point home underdog. So Southern Miss is favored by 3 points, and the over-under is 59.5.
I really and when we were at Bocoma, I didn't pick the Eagles to win against Jacksonville State. I took the Gamecocks. The Eagles are making believers out of me, and I think if anybody can go over there and win tomorrow night, particularly as bad as the Georgia Southern running defense has been, I think the Eagles could carve them up. I think it might be a really good, satisfying Southern Miss win. I like Southern Miss.
Golden Eagles have a good quarterback. They've got running back depth.
He can run it himself, too.
He can run it himself.
What's your score, Kelly?
He can throw it.
Let's go 34 to 17.
Wow. I like 31-24 Golden Eagles.
Okay.
I think there'll be a little bit more scoring. I said 38-24 in my story this morning. So 38-24 Southern Miss.
But we all agree the Golden Eagles win this, go 4-2. Say that again. The Golden Eagles.
Where's our bell?
4-2, and in first place in the West.
And I'm telling you guys, this could be something magical that's starting, but it has to start Thursday night.
Yeah, because then we're going to look like idiots if they go out there and lose tomorrow night.
And if they don't win tomorrow night, then we're having the discussion completely turns around as to what now.
Now it's, can this team win on the road?
Yes,
that's the question.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Our
ESPN
time.
2.
Going to be fun. Today was fun. Thank you for listening, everybody. We do truly appreciate it.
And we know you do.
Yes, we do. Good and bad, we know you listen. And we do appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Southern Miss.
To the top.
To the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution.
Waiting. You do it at grocery stores, in traffic, and at the doctor's office. But what if you could skip the wait altogether? Introducing Trust Care Plus, a healthcare membership that makes feeling better even faster. Skip the waiting room and enjoy priority access at any Trust Care clinic. Sick kid? Text your care crew day or night. Get discounts on prescriptions and so much more. Wait no more. Feeling better just got a whole lot faster. Join Trust Care Plus today. Plans start from just $15 a month. Learn more at trustcarehealth.com/plus.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.